Hello and welcome to this episode of Armchair Analysts podcast. This is episode 26. I'm your host, Johnny, and with me is...
Ace.
Yeah, alright, let's give you guys a little roadmap here. We're going to be nicer instead of making you kind of fast forward to what you actually care about. Let me just give you the rundown for today. We're going to start off, I have a double session of the Random Rants. We have regional updates between Wisconsin and Madison. Wow, Wisconsin and Minnesota. Weekend wrap-up and the week looking ahead here. We got PGA, MLB, that kind of stuff. We have a story with Toronto as the hub city for NHL, a Rachel Nichols leak, and a quick six. So that's a quick little intro of what we got going on here. Before we get started and get into that, I do want to mention that we are on Twitter at AA Podcast. Anything related to the show, whether it be additional content, anything we cover, some stupid stuff, and whenever we post episodes, will be on there. And also, we are available on YouTube as well. So, if that is your deal, we are there, and pretty much every podcast platform. Wherever you guys listen to your podcast, you can find us on there. But with that being said, I'm going to get into the first part of my rant, and this one is a newly developed one that I'm very passionate about. My buddy and I, we went golfing. We played 9 Sunday morning, and my buddy just got not yelled at, but very, very strongly scolded for trying to bring alcohol to the course. I mean, we know better. It's just like, well, stop us. They actually stopped us, and then they reminded us that, hey, like, we're selling liquor on the course. Great, perfect. There was not a single. I didn't even hear a beer can being opened, and we were out there for 2.5, almost 3 hours. Like, unbelievable. Like, we let people play through. I'm like, well, maybe, we'll see a cart girl or, somebody going around with beverages. Nothing. You can't tell me. You can't tell me not to bring anything and then I can buy it and then not actually offer it.
They basically escorted you back to the vehicle to put the beer in there too.
Oh no, I'm an innocent bystander. I just saw this guy that was in my cart do that. I had nothing to do with that. I'm a law-abiding citizen. But yeah, I don't know. That just really irked me. It's like you can't yell at me and tell me you can't do this and then not give me the alternative. And it was like 90 degrees that day. Like I honestly at some point I just wanted water. Like
yeah, regardless of time of day. I know you prefaced it was the morning, but that's one of those unwritten rules, or I guess now courses have kind of laid it out pretty clearly. You can't bring, but again, it's frustrating when they don't actually allow it.
Because I'm so bad, it started as morning and ended as mid-afternoon when we were done. So there may have been a couple 10-stroke holes, but that's something for another day. Rant 2 is kind of a new development here. Now that we're actually getting teams saying that they're not having home games, people that already have tickets, they're kind of in a little bit of a pickle. Let's say, Ace and I want to go to a game and we're going to bring our families. And I'm like, okay, I got the tickets. You guys just help me with airfare and stuff, whatever. And, I dropped $4,000. Okay. Well, now, the Packers, this isn't true, actually. I mean, it's going to happen, but it hasn't been confirmed yet. The Packers aren't going to have any home games this year. Well, so I get my money back. Well, not necessarily. Depending on who you buy it from, you're probably just going to get a voucher. Like, what are you going to do with $4,000 worth of Ticketmaster credits? Like, I don't know.
Jesus.
That's so messed up. Like that $4,000, like granted, the person spending that probably should have had maybe the foresight to kind of maybe hold off on it for a little bit, but either way, like if you're getting your money committed, you shouldn't have to get essentially a store credit just so they can hold on to your money, basically. Because that's literally dead money because you can't do anything with that. Because eventually, I hate to say it, guys, but you're not going to a game this year probably anyway.
Or a concert, or a play, or like you name it. That's a shame on these third party, and even if it is that applying to.
So I believe Ticketmaster is one of them. So I mean, technically third party, but not really. Like you can't go up to, you can't go up to a Miller or any like football stadium and just say, "Hi, I'd like to purchase a ticket for 4 months from now." Like, sorry, it's not going to happen. So you have to go through these vendors, and then they're just holding your money hostage. So, I mean, sure. I mean, maybe, you could use it for some other event, but there's no other events. I don't know if you guys haven't checked, but nothing's open right now. Every concert has been postponed or canceled already. So, and that money, like, you can't even put it in savings to get passive interest. Like, you're not getting anything out of that.
That's a great idea that they're not even probably considering because
It
they're
is
hurting so bad.
evil. It is evil, and I hope that enough people complain about it because that's messed up. That's not okay.
I haven't heard anything locally here, but I know a bunch of friends of mine have bought concert tickets. And one that comes to mind is Rage Against the Machine was a huge seller to come back this year, 2020, to sold out, I think, 2 shows even. They ended up putting a second show on once they sold out the first one pretty quick. They even gave back tickets right away. Or I shouldn't say that, but they're basically holding for 2021. So it's like most of these venues, most of the tickets I've even bought for concerts are going to be delayed until the following year.
Oh yeah.
But you don't have to pay for it. It's so in a way, I guess it's a voucher, but the likelihood of being able to go to the concert, or at least your money's going to be good for something.
Yeah, but it's the same thing though, right? Like,
yeah,
it's literally it's the same thing. Like you made it sound nicer than I did because I was angry, but it's the same thing. Like, granted, I'm assuming you're not spending. You're not buying like 8 tickets at a time or anything like that. But I mean, still,
well, like I had some money invested, a little over 400 for a concert.
Chump
I bought
change.
some extra tickets.
Chump change. Don't let him fool you guys. He has a Kia Stinger. He's loaded.
Hey, just don't tell him where I live.
1, 2, 3. No, I'm just kidding. All right. So while we were recording. You can't make this stuff up. We just got an update saying that the NFL proposes NFL training camp rosters being cut down to 80-man, and they're scrapping the preseason. The NFL is completely... I mean, they cut it down in half before, and now they're completely erasing it. So, I mean, bro.
With testing, I think, for every day for the first 2 weeks also, and an opt-out. Players apparently can opt out by August 1st if they write a letter to the NFL stating basically like a doctor's note, I guess you could say.
Wow. I actually don't have I don't have any words. That this is a thing. Like we've been hinting at this, but maybe it's just my nihilistic point of view on how this has all been handled and how they're giving us just like little tiny tidbits of information as we go. But this is the first time it's like, whoa. Like, okay, when it was first like, okay, well, these teams aren't having fans. Most teams are kind of on board with that. And now it's like, okay, well, now there's no preseason after it was already cut in half. It just sounds like we're beating a dead horse here and it sounds like a broken record. But, I feel like these kind of stories, there's not a whole lot you can do with them. Like, it's not like you can protest it. You can't get mad about it. You can't.
Yep.
But now that you see, I mean, we just talked about how, fans are getting vouchers. Well, now there's no preseason, which I don't know about you, but a preseason game, it's a very inexpensive and fun way to enjoy your team. Like, if you can't afford, like $150 to go to a game, or it's too far away and you can't, you only can go in like summer or whatever, well, this is like perfect.
Yeah, exactly. And the lack of urgency shown by the NFL is pretty appalling.
Oh yeah, we're getting strung along here like a puppet. It's pretty bad, but
do you know one thought I had, or question I had? Are the contracts guaranteed the minute you play a down in the regular season or preseason?
They're fully guaranteed. Like Kirk, I'm pretty sure your boy Kirky's getting paid regardless of what happens. So
yeah, that's what I'm thinking about.
If it says guaranteed, it's guaranteed. So if he gets shot in the head, it's that. God forbid, he's still gonna get his money. Yeah, well, I'm just saying, like, if something happens to him, like that money, it says guaranteed. Like that's what they play for now. That's what the league is. But yeah, so maybe we'll get some other news as we go along here. But that's where we're at right now. Not ideal.
Yeah, we're like a puppet in a theater performance, just kind of playing along, waiting for basically the floor to fall beneath us or something.
No, I will say this though, it's definitely their world and we're just living in it. We're just along for the ride. All right. I know that you have a few regional updates, and I kind of have a couple of things I want to chime in on. So why don't you get us started with that?
Yeah, for sure. So the big news that came out last week was that St. Thomas University locally here in St. Paul was granted D1 access. They're a D3 school now that plays in the MIAC conference with the likes of St. John's, Gustavus, handful of other schools, St. Olaf, in locally here, but they were able with the Board of Regents and however, officially this goes down, they were able to get access into D1 this coming year, actually. So 2021, 2022, 19 of their athletic teams or their program, 19 of their teams will be in the Summit League, followed by the football program, which will actually be in the Pioneer League. So the Summit League encompasses, it's North Dakota State, North Dakota, I think Oral Roberts, you got South Dakota State, Kansas City, Denver. That's going to be 19 of the teams. Football program, like I mentioned, going to get into the Pioneer League, which has the likes of San Diego, Jacksonville, Dayton, Drake, I think it's like maybe a handful of more schools also, but this was kind of a long time coming for their program. And then just to kind of wrap it up, the two hockey programs, the men's program is waiting yet, still hasn't found a home. And then the women's hockey program is going to be in the WCHA to battle with the likes of St. Cloud, the U, also known up here as the University of Minnesota, and Minnesota Duluth, Wisconsin, all of those teams that make up the WCHA. Mankato, I think, might even be in there. Either way, like I said, this was, long time coming. This has been talked about for, a handful of years because they've been a powerhouse in the MIAC for some time. And so it's, on the one hand, it's good to see them get that access granted. On the other hand, I think they're going to get their butts kicked because they're a
so that
school.
was I was waiting for you to take a breath, but it didn't happen for about 3.5 minutes. I'm just kidding. But I'm just curious. Like, I understand. Like, I know that there's a similar situation here. I mean, the Whitewater football team has been dominant for quite a while, but it's like they're dominant because they are where they are. Like, I mean, like, would you really put Alabama into the NFL and kind of just to see how things go? Like, it's not going to go great. Like, even if you're playing the Jaguars or the Dolphins, I guess they're still NFL players. I don't know.
Yeah.
It makes me. I guess I know that there's a lot of benefits to being a D1 school.
Yep, exposure.
And exposure definitely. But I mean, there's a lot of other financial benefits that go along with it too. That I mean, they're probably not. I mean, they're definitely not getting right now. So I understand that, but I mean, you're also setting up your players for. I don't want to say. I don't really want to say it, but it's. You're going to make things harder for the kids because it's like, in college football where they have, these no-name schools play like, a Big Ten school. Like when the Badgers open up versus, just a couple of really small schools typically, like Austin P. And it's like 65-0. Like, I'm very worried that might be happening to these schools. Like, I get that there's a lot of benefits, but it's like...
And being the fact that Minnesota's kind of on the up and up, the university now, the Gophers, I could totally see the Tommies. I love that their nickname, by the way, St. Thomas, is the Tommies.
That is cool. Cool.
Just kind of goofy, but point being, I would rather see the Gophers play the likes of the Bison, North Dakota State, who's actually going to be more competitive than the Tommies and blow them out by 30-plus points. So, little bit of context. There's two high schools predominantly in the metro area, St. Thomas Academy and Cretin, where a lot of those students, not even student athletes, just students overall, go to St. Thomas University. I still can't see those student athletes getting recruited there when you have the likes of Minnesota, Wisconsin, other D1 powerhouses they could obviously play for.
Would you just call Minnesota D1 powerhouse? Calm down, buddy.
Hey,
win a Big Ten championship. Win a Big Ten championship.
But it's gonna be interesting to see how this plays out because obviously I could see them going after these. Now, obviously, before the pandemic, I could see them going after these high-profile schools to be able to play and get the money that comes with playing, in a high-marquee ESPN televised game, stuff like that. But now that there is a pandemic, this really changes St. Thomas's goals of trying to get some money pretty quick for televised games. So we'll see.
Did you honestly think I was going to let you say that?
What?
That Minnesota's a powerhouse team.
Hey, you didn't know what?
You know I zone out occasionally, but come on, man.
Oh God. So the last bit of Minnesota news before I let you take over. The Twins are up, wheels up, baby. They're heading off to Chicago today. They scrimmage the Cubs tomorrow, and then officially their season kicks off on Friday. So it'll be good to see them out. I haven't heard any positive tests yet, both for them, for the Wild, and even Ekthro and the St. Paul Saints since I brought them up last week. So crossing our fingers this goes as planned and they can actually begin playing baseball this week.
Yeah, well, and that's kind of the main point for this week, right? Thursday night we have two pretty much of probably 4 of the top 5 teams. They might have done that intentionally. Yanks and Nats, and then Giants and Dodgers on Thursday. And then on Friday, apparently everyone in Chicago is going to be enjoying some baseball because the Cubbies and the Brewers play, and the Twinkies and the Sox. So, I mean, I
love it.
I mean, I think that's actually pretty cool. And since the Brewers aren't going to have a game at home anyway, I don't really care where they play as long as I get to listen to them. I won't actually be able to watch, unfortunately, but I'll be able to listen to the radio broadcast, which is what I honestly prefer most of the time anyway. So, yeah. Well, I don't know. Euchre paints quite a portrait. So
actually, I was gonna say I kind of forgot that Euchre was still the.
Kind of forgot. How dare you? You went to UWM, animal. Yeah, I'm super excited, and you know what? There's been a lot of negativity, but it's like at the end of the day, I don't know how long it's gonna last, but we're getting baseball this week, baby. I don't. Everything else looks grim and lacking hope, but no matter what, we're gonna get baseball. So we'll at least get one weekend in.
Did you buy your selfie, the $50 selfie portrait for the stadium?
I did not. I did not, unfortunately. It's intriguing. I would want to put something like really stupid though. That's the problem. Like I wouldn't put my actual face. Like I got a photo of my buddy who actually got on the Jumbotron. He fell in the Milwaukee River during tailgating. Don't ask me how. And then he took off his shirt and he was swinging it around his head. And then the Jumbotron actually panned to him. And so there's a picture of him looking at him on the Jumbotron. That's what I would put in the stands. That's what I would put. But, I mean...
And that's when he came to and realized what the heck he was doing.
I mean, that's the beauty of it, You fall into a river, the rest of the day can only go up, right? So... No, I didn't partake in that, but...
That's good. You're more mature anyways.
You say that, but... okay, so I was very excited about having baseball, obviously, but then a second Buck player in the last calendar week actually tested positive for COVID. Pat Connaughton actually just came back with this test about a day ago. Eric Bledsoe already, asymptomatic, sure, but I mean, either way, you test positive, you're not going in the bubble. So neither of them traveled with the team last week. So I mean, I think Patty knew it was already a thing, but the test just confirms it. So I mean, he's still got time. I doubt that he'll make the cut, the 14-day quarantine cut before he can get down there before they start playing. But I mean, this is kind of how it starts, right? Like, it's not like your A-list star player, but a couple players get it. They miss some time. It's
still depth. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. And he's a fantastic rotational player too. It starts like that, and he gets in. They make him wait the 14 days, but that bubble, it's just waiting to burst, man.
Did you hear Zion Williamson
got
like a release? What the hell? If that's any other player, or I should say any other non-star player, that they're just gonna laugh in their face.
And Dwight Howard's still like really confused about what a mask does too. So, I mean, if this is, I don't know if you saw his comments. They're worth looking up. He just doesn't understand. He doesn't understand what the mask does. He's very confused by it. So,
Well, consult your health expert or a doctor then.
Or I'm sure they have stuff posted everywhere because every workplace does, and if they are all confined within, one city, you'd like to think that they'd at least have stuff. I don't know. If I had to pick between MLB and NBA, even though the Bucks were rolling, I mean, does it even matter now? I mean, they barely even played together since March. It feels like a new season, doesn't it? Like, I understand the Bucks were on a tear, but it's like it doesn't even feel like anything now. So
I know it really takes the sails out of, like, not only the getting back in, but actually the championship game too, because that's even so far away since they actually have to finish a handful of games before that even takes place, the playoffs.
Which, I mean, honestly, like they'll knock the rust off, and then they get a chance to kind of prove themselves, and then next thing you know, you're gonna have. I mean, the NBA playoffs is already crazy long, so hopefully they'll get some time to get the team chemistry back and the flow of the game, and I know that they're gonna. Depending on the depth issues, they're going to have to work some different rotations than what they want to. If I'm assuming Bledsoe will be back, but if Pat's not back, I mean, it's going to change the line a little bit. But whatever, man. We're getting sports back. It's a good time to be alive. We'll see how long it lasts. I'm hopeful, but who the hell knows? Moving right along. I know that you want to talk about our favorite sport, PGA. We got the weekend wrap.
Yes.
And the weekend.
Yeah. So one sport that obviously has been going on for the last month or so has been PGA, and they played at this was the Memorial Tournament, same course as the week before in Dublin, Ohio. Jon Rahm led on, I think he took the lead over Saturday and had a pretty large margin on Sunday to keep that lead intact. He did suffer a 2-stroke penalty that actually was, he wasn't even aware of that until literally on live broadcast after he had won, he was told. So it's kind of an awkward video where he's given thanks. He had some family members apparently that passed away during this time, not due to COVID, but they were in nursing homes, so he didn't really get a chance to see them. So it was one of those emotional, like, weird, very emotional, kind of forthcoming with that after he had just won. Jack Nicklaus, one of the greatest golfers, probably the greatest golfer of all time until Tiger passes him on total career wins, majors, I should say. But Jack Nicklaus was right there. And then, of course, right after that, the stupid rules officials had to tell him, oh, by the way, you suffered a 2-stroke penalty on kind of a weird chip where the ball was higher in the grass, and as he put his club down, the ball sort of moved a little bit, and I don't think it actually touched the club, but because once you put the club down, it actually counts as a penalty, and it's 2 strokes. Thankfully, he still had enough, of a lead, but I mean, the fact that he found out literally after, during the post-match interview is pretty shameful on the PGA part for, telling him at that point instead of in the moment. But regardless, he won. He took over the number 1 spot rankings in golf, and, he's another young stud that basically an idol of his, Tiger Woods. He got into the game a lot more seriously with Tiger and another Spanish player, Seve Ballesteros. Bet you guys didn't think I'd pull that name off.
Definitely did not.
But Jon Rahm, yes, from Spain, won this week or this past weekend at the Memorial. The other bit of news, we've kind of already mentioned it, but the MLB, of course, is going to be kicking off Thursday. And one thing I didn't mention earlier in the regional update, I really hope that they take this whole regional games play into consideration for the eternity for baseball, because I think playing games against what could potentially be local, more regional rivals is amazing. I'd love to see the Twins and the frickin' Cardinals end up being a rivalry along with the Brewers and the Cubs, like that sort of thing. I love it. Well, yeah. I mean, what? I guess the Brewers and the Twins aren't kind of.
Brewers and the Cubs play all the time.
No, I'm saying that. Sorry, I meant the Twins could be rivals for all of those teams now if they adopt this regional gameplay moving forward.
Do you know what the NL Central is, buddy? Literally has Brewers and Cubs. Okay, sorry. Also, did you mention that Jack Nicklaus actually tested positive for COVID with his wife?
Oh no,
Yeah,
I heard that. It
yeah.
was
I mean, it was a while ago, but he never said anything. But I mean, the guy's 80, so I mean that's kind of scary actually. Maybe that's why he
yeah.
waited so long to say it. But yeah, it's pretty
Wow,
scary.
Jesus, yeah. That kind of puts a lot of things in perspective.
Mm.
But yeah, that's the weekend wrap and the week ahead.
Good stuff, man. I am so pumped for Thursday.
Hmm.
Honestly, I don't even care if the game is like horrible. If it ends up 0-1 at the end, I don't even care. I just being able to watch it would be really nice. Now, this next story. When you first mentioned it to me, I was worried, but big Rachel Nichols fan. I honestly I didn't know where the story was going, but what details you got for me?
Yeah, so apparently, some anonymous person, which they believe to be an ESPN reporter, sent a bunch, like about 30 minutes of audio and video recordings, or video, I should say, to Deadspin, um, of Rachel Nichols in her hotel room. And obviously, the first thing that comes to mind is, oh God, I hope that this isn't like an Aaron Andrews sort of incident. Thankfully, it wasn't. And thankfully, Deadspin had the peace of mind or the common sense to actually review what they were sent to make sure it was authentic, and only, I think, posted like 4 minutes of it or something. Or maybe they only sent four. Either way, it was weird that the anonymous source sent it directly to Deadspin, meaning they probably had a relationship with some reporter there and were hoping to basically sabotage Rachel Nichols. Um, some of the stuff that was discussed was just overall staffing for the finals, who's probably going to do it, and then I guess some stuff. She was talking about her career overall with ESPN, but just overall, thankfully, it wasn't as severe as what happened with Aaron Andrews. I think like 10 plus years ago, but still just kind of creepy and yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, I'm glad that it wasn't anything too crazy, but I mean, is this? Do you think it's more somebody just? I just want to hear some answers. Maybe she knows something. I mean, what's going to happen, or is it more? This person has
Mm-hmm.
access something that no one else really does, and he was just trying to get his fame. He or
Mm-hmm.
she. What do
Mm-hmm.
you think?
I'd probably say the latter, where it's more
Yeah,
just trying to get access and potentially sabotage her into, because who knows, that's the thing with phones and video feeds, all that stuff. Somebody can easily get information out that wasn't intended to be publicly
sure.
shared.
I don't know, man. If I'm trying to take someone down, I'm gonna aim a little bit higher than Rachel Nichols, though. I mean, no offense to her.
Yeah.
Fantastic sideline reporter, but yeah, if I'm gonna risk my job, my credibility, and my future, I'm probably gonna aim a little bit higher than a ESPN reporter. But
Hmm. It's
such is the world.
Yeah, exactly. Even still, it's just kind of, you shake your head because it could happen all too easily. And like, I just picture like an owner, because another one that jumped out was the Clippers owner, Donald Sterling. His
Crazy old
girlfriend
racist.
recorded him on like a racist rant in their home or something, like a private setting. So it's like, on the one hand, great that crap came out, but then on the other, it's like, where does the line
But that's not
cross?
even whistleblowing. He was a known outspoken racist, and
True.
nothing ever
Yeah.
came up until that leak came out.
Mm-hmm.
Until
Oh,
that, everyone was all like over him after that. But it's like, why did nobody say anything before that though?
yeah.
Like, it's not like
Yep.
he had this one egregious slip up. Like, no, the dude was a prick.
Yeah.
He
And
was.
I think a lot of owners probably kept their mouths quiet, for a handful of years when they should have spoken up even. But who knows? You don't know what they know either, so it's not fair to probably call them out either. But yeah, it was pretty evident that he was definitely a racist and whatnot.
Yeah, and it's not like that's something that you just form overnight. I mean, the guy was ancient by the
Mm-hmm.
time he got exposed, but
Mm-hmm.
another story for another day. No, actually not. I don't really ever want to talk about Don Sterling again. He's just trash. Um, I think it's time. Do you think it's time?
Yes, sir.
I think it's time. I mean, we've talked about some silly, goofy stuff. Now we got to get to the important stuff, right? We got to get to the core, the base structure of this show. Ace's Quick Six. What is it this week?
MLB Season Awards. So because Ace's Quick Six, we're only going to go over the MVP for both leagues, the Cy Young, and the Managers of the Year. And I looked up the odds online for both the MVP and the Cy Young, and I found some dark horses that I think are worth it if you're into that sort of thing. But the MVP for the AL, this was a tough one because I really like my boy Jorge Polanco of the Twins, and even Josh Donaldson got some recognition for the Twins. But I got to go with DJ LeMahieu, the second baseman for the Yankees. He's at plus 4,000, and the guy can do it all. I think he hit almost close to 30 home runs last year, batted over 300. He's the leadoff hitter in an absolutely stacked Yankees lineup, as much as I hate to say that. Point is, because of how stacked that team is, they're going to have to pitch to players, and DJ LeMahieu is probably one of the best contact hitters in the game, along with my boy Jorge Polanco. So at plus 4,000, that's almost somewhat of a no-brainer. In the NL, this guy's been playing for a handful of years. He's our age, or just about close to it, but he's one of the best defensive third basemen, Nolan Arenado of the Colorado Rockies. The one caveat with them is their team is always in and around 500, so unless they actually have a standout year, it's going to be tough for him to win it. But at plus 1,700, that's you got Christian Yelich, who's the favorite, your boy, at like plus 600 or even probably less than that. So it's a little bit better odds there, and they put up similar numbers, just different positions. So I like that as well. Cy Young now. Pitchers. Let's see. For the AL, Lucas Giolito. He's got some nasty stuff for the White Sox starting pitcher, and I think we're going to end up facing him, the Twins, the opening game here on Friday. So I guess because of how short the season is, he's going to have to come out, or all the pitchers, I should say, are going to have to come out consistent week in and week out if they want to win this award. And he's at plus 1,800, which is again another good value when you consider, I think Garrett Cole, Justin Verlander are all under 1,000 plus odds. Handful of others. Your boy, who's the guy, Blake Snell for the Rays, the guy that doesn't want to play because of money issues.
I don't want to get COVID, guys. I'm 90 feet away from everybody.
60 feet, 6 inches, but whatever, close enough. In the NL, kind of a young guy, Michael Soroka for the Braves. He's at plus 3,000, and again, another starting pitcher. The Braves seem to always have a good defense, and they should have a pretty good offense again this year with the mix of some young guys, Acuna Jr. and Freddie Freeman, the veteran who's been around their team for a while. But as long as they can get some wins against the Nationals and teams alike in that division, as well as, so this is what's interesting. They get to play the AL East, the Yankees, the Red Sox, the Rays. That's going to be so difficult to pitch around those teams. But at plus 3,000, I like this dude, Soroka, Michael Soroka. Now, managers of the year in the AL, my Twins, Rocco Baldelli. Not to be a homer, but I actually think the Twins are gonna. I think they're gonna have the most wins in the AL this year. That's what I'm betting on, at least. And I think because of that, Baldelli's gonna get some consideration because we got as deep of a lineup as the Yankees. I would say maybe not as much power overall, but from 1 to 9, it's gonna be tough to pitch around us as well. So I like Baldelli for the Twins, and then for the NL, some guy that I never even heard of until today, Torey Lovullo, the Arizona Diamondbacks head coach. Now you're probably thinking, what are you smoking, Aaron?
Been saying that for months, actually, since you started the podcast.
But the Diamondbacks should have a pretty good team this year. They got Patrick Corbin, their frontline starter, and then a decently deep lineup. But again, they're going to be playing in a tough division since it's regional. They'll be playing obviously the Dodgers, the Giants, the Rockies, and then what other the A's, the Angels, the Astros, your favorite team, and then the Mariners. So if they can beat up on the AL West, I think they should at least be 500 in the NL West and take care, maybe squeak out this guy as manager of the year.
Topical and relevant. That's what we come to expect from you, Ace. Very nice job. All right.
Thank you.
Appreciate you guys listening. If you haven't already, I think we mentioned this last week. If you like what you hear and you want to make sure other people know it too, go to ratethispodcast.com/armchairpod, and it'll pull up whatever platform you have, and then you can do whatever you like. I mean, if you don't even have to leave a comment, just give us some stars. We appreciate it. It goes a long way. Helps out our search rankings, help people find us, and get other valuable listeners like you. We appreciate everybody. Again, at AA Podcast for us on Twitter. Available pretty much on every platform you'd like. Again, if we're not on something and you want us on there, email me and I will immediately see to it.
Yes.
But yeah, Apple Podcast, Spotify, Google, Deezer, Podcast Addict. We're on YouTube. So wherever you guys listen, we don't care how you do it as long as you do. I'm Johnny. That's Ace. We are out.